Welcome to the revival of Rubber Flower Poetry Hour. My name is Cameron Lovejoy. We've been kind of dormant for 2 years now, I guess. And we're trying to do this outdoors now if we can, if it doesn't get too cold. So thanks for being here. We were on for like 3 years or 4 years or so, three years, and now we're back. So thanks for coming. This is like a benefit. This is a thing to help Tilted House foster and maintain itself and support its editors and keep buying paper and all these things that help make this possible. And there are plenty of ways to support tonight. We have free drinks, mostly run by Henry Goldcamp over there. Please give him a hand. All the cocktails are made with, the names of them are poems by some of our readers tonight. There's beer and wine as well. Please, if you can, tip Henry and Tilted House by putting some money in for the drinks. Another way is there's a GoFundMe campaign. There's a computer in there where you can plug in all your stuff. It's straight back. There's also a raffle with so much cool stuff for people to, there's all sorts of art and music and books from New Orleans writers and all sorts of things. And the third thing is that we have an exhibition here at the front. Straight back where the raffle is, there's all sorts of art from our contributors and poets and our editors, and it's just a big thing. So please, if you can, if you're able, please donate somehow, some way. We'd really appreciate it. Let's see, some housekeeping stuff. This is what the evening's going to look like. We have 2 readers. We're going to take a break because we need lots of breaks during this stuff. It's just like a lot to take in. Then we're going to have some people reading from the new Tilted House Review that just came out, 4th one. We're going to take another break, and then we're going to have some open mic and some breaks. So there's the open mic spot. I don't know how many places are open still, but there are a few, I hope. We only have room for 10 people, so please respect that if you can. Let's see. For buying a raffle ticket, put your name and your number on each one of them so that we can call you if you leave. And put it into the basket that corresponds to what you want to win. There's some rad stuff in there. And please wear masks indoors. I know it's kind of, it's kind of cold out, so it might be nice to wear a mask indoors. This event is being filmed on our Instagram. If you do not want to be filmed or anything while you're reading, come talk to me or talk to Sean, who is over here with his hand up, and also to Nikki, who is going to be reading in just a few minutes. Yeah, we'll pull for the raffle at 9 p.m. Cool. Okay. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm going to introduce. I'm going to introduce our first reader, Nikki Mayeux. Nikki, I met through another publication that I was running during COVID called Infection House, which was like COVID-themed, polemical sort of responses to what was going on. And I loved her work so much that we ended up publishing a book together, the first book, which is also for sale in there, Ordinary Time. And I really love Nikki's work, and I hope you do too. This is Nikki Mayeux, everybody. Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Cameron, for having me. Thank you to Cameron and to Tilted House for believing in this this tiny, exciting, very niche poetry book that I co-created with the illustrator, a dear friend of mine, Brianna Ladwig, who would definitely be here if they lived in state, but they do not. And so I very, very much would love it and encourage you to check out their work at theillustrator.com. And I'll see if we can tag agree on the Tilted House Instagram so that they are easy to find. Their print shop has a lot of gorgeous illustrations, some from the book and a lot more. And just love them dearly and would love if you would check out their work. Tonight I'm going to be reading some poems from Ordinary Time and a few newer ones that Cameron is going to loan me his phone to read from since my phone is doing the live stream.
How is the sound, everybody? Do we need to turn up?
Yeah.
Great.
A little up?
A little up. As high as it goes, baby.
It's as high as it goes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just close.
I can project a little more. Is that better?
Yeah.
Also, before I read this first poem, I just want to acknowledge and honor that this reading is coming on the heels of some pretty intense life stuff for me, and absolutely could not be here as a thriving, functional human being if it were not for the endless support of my partner Ileana and my kids Eleanor and Lucas. So thank y'all for being here. The widow Judith, as Tallulah Bankhead defends her decision never to remarry after beheading Holofernes. You see, darling, men are like a slow gin fizz, good on a hot summer day, but not always worth the effort. You ever see a man's face lit up by campfire through tent cloth? I can tell you it looks the same, coming or going, rim shot, wink. And you don't miss it like you think you will. I have grown tired of a long line of men standing like bowling pins between me and my life. That knife was my ticket to the theater of Leave Me the Hell Alone, and I am sitting at the balcony with a cigarette in one hand, a bump of coke in the other, and a blade between my thighs. People forget that one survival response is fawn. Love comes to you as blue ribbons, attendance awards, straight A's, being chosen to lead the closing prayer, being chosen for the lead in the play, being chosen. Love comes in big rolling waves when you prove yourself worthy. At summer camp, you towed the top edge of the aluminum bleachers, hot as an oven rack in the June sun, and flung yourself backwards. Love was a circle of hands assuring you that you were worth saving. You mainlined salvation over and over and over again. When you wanted to kiss your best friends' faces, you confessed your sins to them instead. You made exchanges, concessions. You understood that it would always be this way. You understood that there would always be unlovable things in the shadows smoldering. Second to find where they all are. So this poem takes on some special meaning. This past year, as a dear friend of mine, Teddy, has been very joyfully sharing with me on our work lunches sometimes that he has created a monarch butterfly way station in his backyard to try to help these endangered species along their migratory journey. And before knowing that he did any of that, I wrote this poem because I found their life cycle so fascinating. So if you're not a monarch butterfly enthusiast like Teddy, it takes 4 generations of monarchs to make the entire migration circuit from the mountain forests of Mexico to as far as southern Canada and back again. The first 3 generations live approximately 2 months as they travel north, eventually going into hibernation for the winter. The final 4th generation lives 3 times as long and completes the entire return trip. So this is the 4th generation monarchs praise the ancestors before their migratory return. For the hope of sugar maple and yellow birch, we thank you. For the eggs laid under milkweed, we thank you. For the orioles and grosbeaks who tried and missed, we thank you. For the prairies unimaginably vast, we thank you. For rain soft enough and sun warm enough, we thank you. For the times you could have stopped but did not, we thank you. For the mountains you left, for the mountains you wept remembering, for your children who did not know mountains, for their children who hardly believed in mountains, for our children who will be born of mountains, we thank you. This book, Ordinary Time, refers to the time in the Catholic Christian liturgical calendar that is basically not a holiday time. It translates to time throughout the year. And a lot of this book talks about my experience leaving religion, as I was born and raised a very devout Christian. And a lot of the poems in this book are healing for me through revisiting Bible stories that were really dear to me and reimagining them and queering them and revisiting them with a different lens. So you'll hear a couple of those biblical poems tonight. And this one is The Fig Tree That Jesus Cursed Gives Advice on Dying Well. Don't think about it mostly. What you have to offer will never be enough for some people. And that's okay, because they've got their own shit going on. Your only job is to grow as full as you can with the rain that you get in the soil you are planted. Your only job is to do what billions of cells inside you scream to do, and to fucking love it as much as you can. And when you start to shrivel in the sun, whether it's at the end of a wellspring of mornings or at the hand of an angry magician who doesn't know or care what you could have been capable of producing tomorrow, don't languish in bitterness. Don't hold the bile of perhaps in your leaves. Your last meal is the tea that you make with your body. So make it sweet, my dear. Make it to taste. My son wears his sister's dress on June 12th, 2020. And there's nothing to do but peel potatoes and worry. I birthed you in the middle of the living room, the first cradle of your father's hands, an invitation accepted to the story of you. The dress is too long. By the day's end, the hem is covered in dirt, and I chop carrots in a time and a place where a child in a dress is a thing untethered, and we like our allegiances. We like our allegiances. Here are my allegiances. 1, to the microbiome of the soiled garments you trail behind you from wherever in the wide world you travel. 2, to your heartbeat and its quickening. 3, to the paring knife and its uses. Peel, parse, protect. Lacquer. You told us you were dying, and a week later I told you I was pregnant. Your first grandchild. An explosion of grief as I watched you do the math. You were a stern woman whose love flowed hard in narrow channels. I knew what you didn't like by what you stopped talking about. My hair, my clothes. You wanted me to survive the world, not dare it. You told a story once about your drunk father teasing your mother by handing her an unloaded gun during an argument, thinking she would be scared and he would laugh. She was not scared. He screamed, "What's the matter with you? That could have been loaded." And they stayed married for 50 more years. A house full of taut strings. I didn't visit you much while you wasted away in your clean home, tiled floors, lacquered furniture bought and maintained. I was scared of your sternness, even more scared to see you lose it, the kind of woman who lingers in your bones. This poem is the final poem in the book, but not the final poem of tonight. Things you can put on your altar. The bloody teeth of the man who screamed at you when you were very small. The ends of every cucumber that you felt bad for not composting. Your grandmother's too small ring. The slug you crushed under your heel for no reason at all. It's not like they sting, and it wasn't doing anything but being. That thing you said in the bathroom at the party. The unfinished macrame planter. Your handprints on locked doors, clawing. Every French braid you ever did at a sleepover on girls who would never fall asleep, thinking about the place where your shoulder curves to your clavicle like a question mark. The seed pods from cypress trees that you gathered for your father. The backspace button from your Macintosh desktop computer. The enter button from your Macintosh desktop computer. A small bowl of your daughter's tears when she broke the delicate thing. The first wedding dress. The police report. The floorboard smooth as a river stone between your bedroom and the smoke detector. A vial of the fingernails chewed in waiting rooms. The poem you can't write. The pajamas your son outgrew, which are the smallest clothes that will ever be in your home again. Every search history starting with, is it normal if? The mourning dove egg you didn't put back in the nest, didn't even try. A clenched jawbone, a half-eaten apple. A powder from all the dried flowers ever given to you at ceremonies, the meaning of your name. These next few poems are newer poems that are not in the book. The first two have been particularly important to me to write since the pandemic, to soothe my own climate crisis. I think a lot about that, and poetry helps me process those feelings. So this one is Mothering During Climate Crisis. Inspired by The World Keeps Ending and the World Goes On by Franny Choi. There is no map for mothering on a planet in seizure. No doula for the abyss. When you see babies in apocalyptic movies, they're supposed to represent hope, and mostly they're supposed to represent hope, but mostly you're just mad at the parents. How dare you, with your brimming over and your hubris and your tumbling forward, contain yourself? Can't you see? This is no time for milk breath and soft bellies. This is the moving sidewalk to oblivion. You can't bring them here. You can't offer them these monstrous choices, this insect holocaust, bedlam, white noise, erosion lapping at their ankles. If giving birth is not saying I am ready to see what's next, then I do not know what birth is. And my loves, you are the last next thing that I can believe in. Motherhood of the fool's journey, blind corner motherhood, motherhood of the gorge, of the steep drop, of shoving poetry into your arms like claw hammers, machetes, trowels, spears. Here, take what you need. Please find the one that will do the job. I'll hold them off so maybe you can reach the next camp by nightfall. Bunker. The cat's claw came first, a Fibonacci spiral through the corner of the blast doors, a thing we did not think possible, but we also did not think many things were possible. It flowered on the 7th day. We had not seen yellow in 3 years. No one thought to bring yellow, and we wept, not daring to touch it, not even to breathe too close. Time is strange underground. No matter how many UV lights, The numbers melt away and we forget the rhythms that used to pull us along, away from things delicious or terrible, and towards the unknowable next. We eat when we notice someone else eating. We sleep when the next chapter of the book is too sad or too beautiful. There are only so many stories, so we ration. It stands to reason that we cannot say after that whether it took a week or a month for the star jasmine to creep along the ceiling, the bird of paradise to burst through the kitchen faucet like a magician's cuff-link sleeve. Only that before, a marble counter here, and now a carpet of ivy. We set our plates down delicately. We watch where we step. Soon a bathtub full of lavender, soon pothos obscuring the bed, an invasion of beautiful, inconvenient things. We hunch through doorways and part vines with our fingers, lingering. This is not what we expected, although we would be hard-pressed to tell you what we did. The air is sweet now. We fill our lungs with greed. The filtration system breaks down, but we keep breathing, and no one speaks of this. Each time we gather at what we can only guess is night, we give reports. We sketch the flowers that we do not know. We warn each other of the now impassable places. And when someone asks, "Is it time? Do you think?" we say, our eyes full of yellow and crimson and every green, our lungs a bouquet of spores. Maybe tomorrow. Let's talk about it again tomorrow. This next poem is another biblical poem that I will just read without context. But I'll read the Bible verse that accompanies it. In the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Elah, king of Israel, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done. He removed the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. Where we hid her. In our underwear drawer, behind the period-stained panties. Behind the loose brick in the fireplace. Under the olive tree in the east field, marked only by memory. Sewn into the hem of our apron. Between the joinery of the pig trough, and we hope she forgives us. Taped to the ceiling beam. Sewn into the stomach of our daughter's doll. Between the largest and second largest mixing bowls, in our grandmother's bridal chest, in our vaginas wrapped in linen, in the hollowed out leg of the birthing stool. And when it is time to pack up and move with the flocks, she comes with us in the secret places, even in the dirt under our fingernails when we can't find her in the east field, even in the splinters she leaves when our husbands, worse sometimes, our daughters, rip her from our hands. Thank y'all again so much for having me, for listening to some poems that are really dear to me. I have one more poem to read. And this last poem is very short, and it is about my children's laughter. But before I read that poem, it strikes me that this is a very particular day to do a reading. It's a particular day to be in front of a microphone, both as the day that the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict came down and the day before Trans Day of Remembrance. So before I read this poem about my children's laughter, I would like to read the names of the 46 trans people who have been murdered in the US this year, and the 2 names of Kyle Rittenhouse's victims who were murdered. As I read these names to honor these people, I would invite us to sit with the reality of ongoing white supremacist violence and transphobic violence in the US, to listen and hold a place in our heart for these names, and to think about the loved ones of these sacred people and how they would have felt listening to their laughter. Tiana Devaria Alexander, Samuel Edmund Damian Valentine, Bianca Muffin Banks, Dominique Jackson, 50 Bands, Alexis Braxton, China Carrillo, Jeffrey J.J. Bright, Jasmine Kennedy, Jenna Franks, Adalyn Evans, Diamond Kyrie Sanders, Rayana Pardo, Jada Peterson, Dominique Lucius, Remy Fennel, Tiara Banks, Jahaira De Alto Valenciaga, Natalia Smoot, Iris Santos, Tiffany Thomas, Carrie Washington, Thomas Harden, Whispering Wind Bear Spirit, Sophie Vasquez, Danny Henson, Serenity Hollis, Ho Delwyn Black, Oliver Ollie Taylor, Tierra Marie Lewis, E.J. Boykin, Taya Ashton, Shay Vanderpump, Miss Coco, Hu Johnson, Zoella Martinez, Desaya Monet, Brianna Ulmer, Kier Solomon, Mel Groves, Royal Poetical Stars, Jesse Hart, Joe Acker, Ricky Altamuro, Jenny DeLeon, Marquisha Lawrence, Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber. Laugh. My 3-year-old has a certain laugh, or maybe just a certain degree of laughter, that I only ever hear when he is hiding. Under the blankets in his bedroom, while I stomp and stomp and stomp and say, where on earth could he be? A laugh like a clear bell, glitter thrown skyward. Our whole lives, we never tire of being found by the ones we love. Thank you.
One more time for Nikki Mayeux, everyone. And thank you, Nikki, for giving space, as always, to everyone that isn't you. Hey, everybody. We're going to go on to our next reader. Rodrigo Toscano is the author of 10 books, and he's got like some prizes and some fellowships and all this stuff, but he's also just a good friend, and he's just a weird poet and one of my favorites in town. Rodrigo Toscano, everybody.
Hello. This is fairly new work. First one is called Endless Summer Nola. The unpaired, or paired, or semi-paired, or multiply paired people and pestilence. She willed herself into a crush, self-gathering crush. Totality makes purpose. By and by, good tidings. By and by, the rough passage. Sick of the city and praising it, fatigued by the country, froofing it up. He What did he do? What he was he? How hardy a he hereabouts, howling. Pinging magnolia, pinging hydrangea, the preferred pewter flower rings. Random rain again, blinky twice. Random rain again, blinky thrice. Boats and planes, cars and trains, forehead on forehead, booty to booty. She, what did she do? What she was she? How hardy is she hereabouts, howling? Singing is elsewhere. Dancing is elsewhere. The verified mammals hereabouts. They willed themselves out of frolicking. They willed themselves into frolicking. This splish splash puddle ocean, shimmery glowy red new sun. Oh, the crush that never cometh. Oh, the crush that suffocateth. He became an ignorant gardener. She became a questionable baker. They saw the lights funk out all at once. They flashed up. Purpose was waiting on the corner. The corner came into question. By and by, willed prophecies. By and by, drink cups cuddling. Again, the paired, unpaired, semi-paired, multiply paired, and pestilence. This one's called Tankards Between Palms. And palms come into view, fair enough place to start. Sensuous is seaside piss. Epic is Xi Jinping. Yes, this scene works all three. The palms, whiz, Chairman Xi. Proceed with weaving palms, twirling to western wind. Next, the piddle puddle, proudly, pooling, seeping. Xi Jinping now awakes, signs edicts, tracks results. Wait, two tankards in view. One glides in, one steams out. One half full, one half void. Salutes, superfluous. Orange sun sliced in half, effulgent gray halo. Between the palms, tinkling on the black sun, dwelling. This one's called Cruisin', Jammin', or He's a Bitch. Ass, in fact, is death. The return of Abba is death in beautiful increments. Kittens grow, leaf twigs snap. Now the moon hovers above, tease, a sort of ass in space. No help from moonlight in birth, wars, and wooing. There was a blonde, right? And a brunette, right? And two kittens in pantsuits. Make that 4. Plus the invisible drummer. And 70s asses sway a Totentanz by the millions. Ass, in fact, is life. The return of Abba is, well, the half dead. In beautiful increments, 15-inch tires, 30-inch tires, by the moon or sun, grinding, wearing, thinning, dusting the roads, times oblivious to car frames toting asses. 2020s models, or styles, or makes, a Totentanz. You have to look that up? Really? On tires, driving for the unstudious. All right, Cayuse. This one's called Frisky Frightened. Frisky Frightened. In 2031, in 2041, in 2051, you frightened or frisky? In 2061, okay, let's go there. 3021, 100th year commemoration of 2021. In 2021, 1921, sentiments, sediment, surfeit of silly stances towards 1821. 1821. Never quite, nor 1822. 1822. 200th year reverse commemoration of 2022. 2022. Right around the corner. Is nothing making you frisky frightened. You're frisky frightened. What else to say? This one's called The Left and the Right. That. What? That. What? Ours. Mine. Ours. Mine. Leap. Chill out. Leap. Chill out. You can't. Oh, can't we? You can't. Oh, can't we? This too. That's not. This too. That's not. For the love of. Hands up! Take my rocker. Hands up! Take my rocker. Rock and rollin', freeze! Rock and rollin', freeze! It's about the children. It's about the children. This one's called Orpheus of Pensacola. Are Tercets imperialist thugs? Now that the price of dicks has dropped, robotics, minor, poetrics. Shizutron swaps out 80 brains. 1 ton of MAGA flags docking. This listing skiff festooned in flak. Do octosyllabics repress? Dredge up Dr. Salubrico. Biometrics minor. Friction. Detecting debtor Joe's a cinch. 20 tons of dildos docking. Beef fireball, flecks of carbonite. Is description homicidal? Ask what dick brains go for these days. Genomics, minor, non-friction. Tweaking Notan Tammy's a hoot. 50 tons of bang dolls docking. Swirl jolly in the anarchy. Orpheus of Pensacola. Not Rodrigo Toscano. I disavow. This next one's called The Cut Point. The Cut Point. The trash men do come, and that's a miracle. On top of the marvel of home water heaters and central air cooling. Your whole life is brained up by designs of others, alongside others, executing plans. This density of intentions is the world you navigate, even in sleep. There's a grand rebellion against the world, taking many forms. One such one is lyric poetry. These failed rebellions deepen the myths we tell ourselves about ourselves in kooky ways. Or has everything become rejoinders? Rejoinder on rejoinder. This ceaseless, chatty inflation. The trashmen know the cut point. AC repair crews know the cut point. Some poets, maybe. The density is we. The needle to cloth is we. And surely the rivet to plate is Zoon Politikon. The likes and follows do come dressed as miracles, vaguely intentional, fizzling fast. Behold is an old word meant to behold what's beholden to something, say this tub fossil. The density of intention here calls up legions of poetic actors pushing limits. The water that flows is a cut point. The pipes that held it are cut points, the dam, the dials. But what about clouds? Have we rebelled against wily whisperings? Are clouds merely constructivisms? No matter. The trashmen have arrived on top of the marble of a number 2 pencil tracking the point. This one's called Magnolias. The shade casting magnolias getting involved with your breathing. Or is it better put, was always involved with your breathing. This shade casting magnolia is oblivious to poetic encirclement. Or is it better put, becoming aware of escape routes. You're reading about colonialism again? You're writing about material entanglement? You're vocalizing empire's crack up again? Shaded and shading magnolias, maybe like 20 after hard rain, make a point at midday. The sun cracking on about technique. This not being Kabul, this being Kabul after all. Radiative, global, new grammar. Magnolias, moist and steamy, vanishing from the scene. Poof, that is, dragoon to the task, and hating it. This one's called Port of Entry. He knows he can be boorish. He gets frustrated, generally. Like this morning, he wants cranes at ports of entry to speak to him. Not every crane, actually, but that light blue one, shrouded in fog, craning over and up and around. Jolly crane, somber crane, serious crane, carefree crane. What's it like to be a crane? The crazy poet asks. In Baltimore, in Charleston, Mobile, Galveston, cargo heart, bundled at the waterfront hole, bantering, paring it all down. Green cranes, gray cranes, orange cranes, yellow cranes. Now you see them? Uh-huh. Now you don't. Now you hear them? Oh. Now you don't. Now you feel them? Now you don't. Cargo heart, exodus, wandering, arriving, haggling, raising the golden mug in Newark, in New Orleans, Long Beach, Vancouver. Now you meet them. Uh-huh. Now you don't. Now you know them. Uh-oh. Now you don't. Now you join them. Ooh. Ooh. Now you don't. And what if that reticent crane were pink in the bright sun, whispering dirt? decommission crank, say, for gravitas, or enlightenment, or plain fun. Two more shorties. This one's called The Land.
Yes.
The land is our friend. That's it. Take two. The land is ours. Not bad. Take three. The land we love. Well done. Take four. The land loves us. Excellent. Take five. The land speaks English. Whoa. Repeat, take five. The land speaks Chitamacha. Whoa. Repeat, take five. The land doesn't care. That's more like it. Take six. The land is the land's. Bingo. Take seven. The land wants the sea. What? Repeat, take seven. The land swims to sea. Perfect. Take eight. The land floats in space. Weird, but it's a wrap. And this one's called American Poetry Review.
Nice.
Right? Have you ever written a pestina? I mean, when you write, do you hold your wiener? Well, what's the one poem that made you? I don't know if, what's the second one that made you? Well, the first, forget about that. What's the latest? The latest. The latest? The latest. Well, what's your routine? Routine. Like a pastina. What repeats? You don't have a routine? I mean, you're spontaneous. You're a spontaneous poet. Spontaneantism. No. You're opposed to formalism. I'm not opposed to anything. You're a proponent of in-betweeniality. I guess so. Thank you, everybody.
One more time for Rodrigo. And one more time for Nikki, please.